Hi everyone, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Miriam Campbell from Skills for Connection. She is a speech therapist, social worker, and teacher and mom who supports therapists, teachers, and parents in helping the kids develop those social emotional skills that are just so necessary nowadays. She also uses holistic language, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral and practical approach to integrate skill developments for children. So today she's going to talk about her book, Bubble Double. And not only that, but she gives us some really nice tips about how to approach social emotional learning in whether it's in the classroom or your homeschool group or any other type of setting that you have educational. So I hope you join this interview and how she approaches social emotional learning. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hi, I'm Miriam Campbell. I am a speech therapist and a social worker, and my passion is helping parents help their kids with social emotional development. I use the language aspect and the cognitive aspect and the emotional aspect to see our kids as who they are in their most beautiful, full selves, and also to help ourselves see ourselves who we are as parents. So let me just get started and tell you about how I got started with social emotional learning. I always wanted to support a connection and relationship skills. What I found was a lot of the programs were very abstract ideas, that they were theories, that they would tell a story, but it didn't actually help the student in real time, in real life, how to implement the concepts. So I developed a curriculum called Skills for Connection to help teachers and to help counselors be able to actually utilize these skills in real time. So I went into the classroom and I started teaching myself because I have to practice what I'm preaching. And what I found was that teachers are so overloaded with just regular curriculum. This social emotional development curriculum ended up becoming like a competition with them, and it became a burden. So what I did was I changed things around and I started figuring out how to implement it in a way that actually supported our teachers, so our teachers could utilize the tools and the skills in their therapy sessions, in their classrooms, a consistent model that would support the teachers and be able to give them the tools. So instead of seeing social emotional development and learning as something that they would have to an extra burden, it became the tools to help support them with classroom management, to help support them with attendance, to help support them with cliques and bullying and all the other things that they were dealing with. But this way they had an empowerment to know how to do that. I started out, as I said, as a speech therapist, working primarily with the kids who have autism. And what I found was that I would teach the skills and we would practice it, and we would do role playing, we would do, evidence-based as much as we could, try and do the role playing and the social stories and really honing in on it. And what I found was they didn't understand why. Why do we need to do these things? Why do I have to be like everyone else? Why do I have to make eye contact? It's so painful. It's so hard. It's so uncomfortable for so many of our kids, especially the kids on the spectrum, especially our kids who are neurodiverse. And what I found was that when we focused in not only on the functionality of it, but focused in on the connection, the love of it, the love of connecting to another person, where it's not just about the skill, but it's about how can I connect to another human being? There's another human being on the other side of this self. There's a self here, and there's another human being there. How can I connect to that other? And naturally, it might not be my style to make eye contact, but that person in their world needs to know that I'm with them. How are they going to know that I'm with them? This is the language of letting them know that I am with them. This is how I connect to them. And so I would work on these skills. And I remember one client, we did social stories, and we did the drama, and we did the role playing, we did all the different components. And we were working on saying bye and saying hi. At the end of the session, he just walked out. And that's when I realized he didn't understand that it was about connection. He didn't understand what that intangible thing of human being connecting to another human being and what that was and what that looked like. So I created the book, The Bubble Double, where children could, and really adults could, see what the purpose of the social skills. It's not ableism. It's not lack of valuing the other. It's valuing connection and valuing love and valuing relationship. And that these tools that we teach kids helps create that environment where two people can together connect. It creates a framework and a visualization for our students to be able to connect it. So that was how the concept came about, and that was why I wrote it. And I'm thankfully hearing fabulous feedback from teachers and therapists and parents who are using this tool. That's how I intended it. I intended it as a tool, but there's tons of different skills. I have like a curriculum list. You're free to email me if you want to get the list of the targets that are inside of this book. And what you can do is you read the concepts, they understand this idea that's all going towards the goal of connection. And it helps you identify different goals that help build up that bubble space, that bubble double that two people can inhabit, or a larger group of people can inhabit when they are connecting. So this is something that you can use independently. The Bubble Double book is something that you can use for, you just want to read your kids the book, or you can use it as a curriculum guide where you can go through and you can really review with the kids. Okay, so like this is what recognizing what the other person's interests are. How do I notice what the other person cares about? How do I give them the cues if I'm available or if I'm not available? How do I read their cues if they're available or they're not available? How close is too close? How far is too far? What will make my bubble pop because it's too far away? How do I get into my bubble? Oh, there's a hello password that gets me into my bubble, gets me into this space. And that's the tools that are embedded in this book. And it's fun. The illustrations are geared mostly towards 4-year-olds through 8-year-olds, but especially if you have a child who's older, who is, first of all, less mature, but even if they just need the visualization, you should be like, oh, look at this, this book that I have. And you could just show them the concept, even if you're not going to learn it inside the way you would with a younger child. And it really makes such a difference for our students. So this is the book, The Bubble Double. And beginning, it just goes through very briefly the sections, like very broadly, the ideas of you have to have a self, then you have to recognize there is another, and then that opportunity to actually connect. And it goes through the check, match, and stick model, which is the model that I developed in this book. So that way it's very, very concrete. I want it to be something that kids understand themselves. So everyone has their own bubble, and then, I'm in my own bubble. I see you in your own, but here inside my bubble, do I have to be alone? What if I need help or want a friend to play? I might want to share a story or have something to say. Recognizing there's a need for the other, there's a need for that connection. And we have a very simple method of how to get there. There's the check, match, and stick model of how we can get to that place. And then it goes through and explains, what does check mean? Check means first I check my friend's bubble. What's happening in her bubble? Look at her bubble. And it explains what that means. What does that mean? Oh, so I have to look and see what her hands are doing. I have to what their feet are doing. Oh, he's feeling impatient. The teacher's feeling frustrated. He might need to use the bathroom. And just sort of going through and helping our kids be able to break down what the specific tools are that they need. So I'm going to check and see if he's free to play before I go or not. And then I could see those are already joined. They're in a bubble double. They've shared their space. And I could share it with one person when I'm following what the group is doing. And it teaches about the tools of why people are responding the way they're responding, so they can understand it. It's less mystifying. It's less scary for kids when they understand, like, oh, there's a rhyme and a reason to this. There's a pattern for this. It's very, very meaningful. And it goes through like throughout the day. It starts off in the morning, and then it goes through the day, through the lunchroom, and trying to get lunch. Greet the people that are in the lunchroom. Look, is he available? read his body language. And this is it goes throughout the day. Like he's too far away, the bubble's popping. He left the group, you know, and he's too close, pop the bubble. And it really is a wonderful way. It takes it all the way to being back home. A wonderful way to help kids be able to understand how social skills help them in their relationships. So just about me, I'm actually running a social emotional series right now. Feel free to reach out. I'm always available at Miriam@skillsforconnection.com. I'm on Instagram, skills4connection, and you can find me on Facebook. And I also have available a free consult if you find that you'd want to just like find out like, okay, like how could I use it in this specific scenario? Or if you'd want one-to-one coaching, that would be a different thing. But I'm excited to hear from you guys, how this is supporting you, how this is supporting your kids, and good luck with all of your connections. All the best. Have a wonderful day.
I hope you enjoyed this great interview from Miriam Campbell from Skills for Connection and her book, Bubble Double. I thought it was a great way to learn more about social emotional learning and how to use those different types of lessons or even tips into your lessons so that you can incorporate that here now and then, or when it's necessary in the classroom. Sometimes we need to do some SEL. So thank you so much. I hope that you can visit our blog at SpanishForKiddos.com/blog for more teaching strategies for Spanish or bilingual learning. Thank you so much for joining the Spanish for Kiddos podcast. Join me another time for another fun reading in English and Spanish, or just have a nice guest like we had today. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.